Everyone out there in YouTube and Facebook land, thank you for joining yet another episode of In the Limelight. My name is Conrad on behalf of CameraStuff. So, in doing these live sessions and interviews, we deep dive into the photographic industry and we find some interesting people to talk to. And tonight we are joined by Nathan Eden Prins, all the way from the Eastern Province, Eastern Cape. And we're gonna deep dive into his career and ask a bunch of interesting questions. So, as always, if you are out there watching, by all means, if you have any questions prepared or during the session, if you want to ask anything, by all means, do drop them in the comment section and we'll tackle them as we go along. But I think in the meantime, as always, if you are joining, introduce yourself in the comment section and we can get a bit of a conversation going. Also, I'd like to see who is watching. So, yeah, get your fingers busy at any time and we will, get a bit of a conversation going. All right, so I think without further ado, let's invite our guest, shall we? Click a button here. Hello, Nathan. How are you doing?
How's it, Conrad? I'm very well, thanks. And yourself?
I'm doing splendidly well. Thank you so much for joining.
Awesome.
Yeah, I do appreciate taking time off your out of tonight and having a conversation with us.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me, Conrad. It's such a pleasure
Of
to
course,
be
yes.
here and also to represent the Easy London, if I can call it that.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, so we're going to talk about your photographic career from point A to B and everything in between. So just to get a conversation going, so the question I always normally start off with is what got you going into the world of photography? What inspired you to get into this industry? What, propelled you by picking up a camera and, getting into the busy world of photography?
Okay, so Conrad, my journey into photography is something that started when I turned 21. I think when I turned 21,
Mhm.
my parents bought me a video camera. I don't know if you remember those handy cams, the ones that used to use those tapes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's when I started at the age of 21. That was my 21st birthday present. And I was just like, yeah, I had this aspiring dream to become this indie filmmaker. And I had all these, documentary style things that I wanted to do. And it was very short lived. And because of my decisions and the bad things that, I got involved with, it sort of like took a back burner, if I can call it that. And, life progressed. And, I moved to Johannesburg. I think it was in 2013. In 2013, I moved to Johannesburg, and while in Johannesburg, I got involved with guys that were doing wedding videography, and I was just introduced sort of like to the world of the Joburg life of wedding videography, and that was a completely different scene, And I gained so much experience that in 2015, I moved back to East London and I came and I tried everything that I've learned, put it into play, and did a couple of weddings here and there, and it was good. It was good, and that was sort of my introduction into the space of into the creative space, if I can call it that.
Sure.
Thereafter, I went a little bit off the path of life. Life happened to me, and I made a couple of bad decisions, which got involved with drugs, and that took me completely away from my dream, completely away from my passion. That for almost a decade, almost 10 years, I was on the streets, and
Yeah.
something happened in 2020. So in the beginning of 2020, while still being an addict and so while still living on the streets, I've been living on the streets for a long time. I came across something. So I was with a group of these street dwelling guys, and we were looking in black bags, but not for food. We were looking for like stuff that we could sell, some stuff that we
Mhm.
could repair. We were looking for scrap metal and stuff like that. And then while in my digging stage, now here I am. I had these aspiring dreams. I accomplished one or two things, and right from there, made a bad decision. My whole life spiraled down, and I lost the dream that I had for photography. Up until this day in 2020, when I came across a broken body, if I call it a broken body, and I've got it here with me. So this is something that I picked
Oh,
up
wow.
in
Wow.
Aspen. No? This is a Nikon D90. It doesn't work. I mean, it's just it's completely useless. It doesn't work at all. And somebody got rid of this thing, and because it's sort of no use. And I picked this thing up out of a dustbin. And the guys that was with me, I said to them, I said, guy, can you smell for me? And out of the moment of there was a little bit of an animosity that was happening, and the guys all jumped up and they're all together and they all smiled, and I had this broken thing in my hand and I was just snapping, and we were having so much fun. And the
Uh-huh.
passion for photography was born in that moment. I didn't have a proper camera, I didn't have proper lighting, I wasn't even living at home, I was living on the streets. And that is where my passion for photography was born. I didn't realize that until 2 months later, when I had a vision. You understand? I call it a vision, a
Mhm.
realization. Let me call it
Sure.
a realization. I had a realization, and I went back home. I went back to my father. I apologized to my father for the things I've done, and I said, Daddy, if I could just have one more chance to just recreate myself, if I can call it that. And the recreations process started just as lockdown started in 2020. And here I am 4 years later, still doing everything that I'm doing at a much higher level. So that is how the journey of photography started. It was me coming across this broken piece of camera and playing with it, like it was a real thing. But the passion started there. That 4 months after I picked up this camera, I actually bought my first camera. I was in between, should I buy Canon, should I buy Nikon? And I was like, I picked up a broken Nikon camera, and I think that's what I'm going to go for. And then that's where the journey started.
Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
fate intervened. You had to stay with the Nikon brand.
Yeah, there we go. So that's how it started. And I bought my first entry level camera. I just played around with it, and from there, you know having the ability to edit, not edit just pictures, but I did some graphic designing and video editing. So I had a little bit of background as to how to use a camera, how to manipulate or pictures, how to edit a video, a little video. I had all those. I had the knowledge, and I used that knowledge, and I made a promise to myself that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so fascinating story, fascinating journey. And we're all grateful that fate intervened with the Nikon camera, and literally the phrase "someone else's trash is someone else's treasure."
Somebody else's
And
treasure. Yeah.
this whole thing, just got together. Fate intervened, destiny unraveled, and that was your moment, and it changed your course of your life forever. And photography had
Forever.
its part to play in here, and it's so fascinating hearing these stories unfold. And yeah, it's what photography is about. It's about establishing vision and orientating yourself. You have the creative mind in relation to all things else. Just to keep the gears going and the momentum going forward. And yeah, sometimes a bit of fate is necessary as well. But yeah, it's all great how things turn out for you, and we're entirely grateful. Yeah, so thank you for sharing that. So the troubling middle part to your career, starting out in the year 2000 with a camcorder or cam handycam, up until now. So besides the Nikon that you picked up, what was the camera that got you going ultimately into photography, and what other gear do you have?
Amazing enough, amazing enough. I'm glad you asked that question, Conrad. So when I bought my first camera, it was a Nikon D3200. It was a second-hand camera. I bought it off Gumtree, and the guy gave me a flash with the camera as well. And
Mm-hmm.
it was one of those old plastic body manual flashes. I mean, those wimpy flashes. At the bottom of the flash has just got that one knob. It's like almost like a universal
Mm-hmm.
flash. So he gave me one of those flashes, and that's how I started. And before long, I then got the Nikon D90 body, because I wanted to learn off-camera flash, and I learned that the Nikon body was able to use the Nikon creative lighting system. So if you pop up your flash and
Mm-hmm.
you've got a one of the Nikon flashes, then that's how I learned off-camera flash. You understand?
Mm.
And but before I
Yeah.
got to that stage, I want to share this one story as well. When I was still shooting on the D3200, my father is now a professional runner, so he runs marathons and stuff like that. And he did his morning run, and I was at home, trying to convert his garage into sort of like a studio that I could use. And he came back, he came home, and he said, "You know what? I just found something for you." So into this fortune goes, and he picks up, and he comes back with this massive big box. It was I think it was a washing machine box. Yeah. So he comes with this box, and he says, "No, but somebody threw this box away." And because I've been asking for a big box, because all I wanted was, I wanted a big box that I could put some foil on, some tin foil on, and I was going to use that as a reflector. Comes with this big
Mm-hmm.
box, and I cut the nice piece of box off, and I got myself some very cheap tin foil, and I just put some glue, contact glue that was around the house, and I just painted the whole thing, stick the tin foil on there, and that is how I started with lighting, because I knew lighting is going to create, and I didn't have money. I mean, I didn't even have to do one shoot yet, and nobody's going to trust me, because I mean, yeah, I come from that life, and I needed to prove myself, and I was going to do anything. I didn't care about gear names. I didn't care. I had a camera. I had a box with tinfoil on that was going to
Mm-hmm.
give me enough light in day to take some beautiful pictures, and that is how I started with the lighting side of things. So I did not start with the best of gear. I did not start with the most expensive of gear. I started with everything that I had to my disposal in my possession. And that was the thing that motivated me. I'm going to do this thing whether or not I have money, whether or not I have the best gear, whether or not I had what I had was good enough to get me started. From there, I got the D90 body, and I bought my first 900. So I
Yeah.
connected these two YouTube videos, connected the two, and I got myself my first Godox product that I bought was the 60 by 60 softbox, that foldable one with the
Mm-hmm.
S2 bracket. That was my very,
Yeah.
very first Godox product that I bought, and put the Nikon SP900 in there, and I just started playing around. And if off camera, I got familiar with the off camera flash. Before long, the Nikon. The D90, which I still have that camera, I will never sell that camera, because it was the first camera that I actually
Of
could
course. Yeah.
use to full potential. And it had the autofocus, the in-body autofocus as well. Because the lenses that I bought then were all manual lenses, and they worked very fine with the Nikon D90. And from there, I moved over to the 7100. And the 7100, I just had it for a little while because the buffer was a little bit too slow. When I converted my father's garage into a studio, so I did a lot of not newborn, cake smash photography. And cake smash
Mm-hmm.
photography, it's a quite a busy thing. You have to capture the babies as they move and all of that. And before long,
Yeah.
the 7100 was it wasn't performing like I wanted it to perform. I moved over to the 7200, and the 7200 also wasn't fast enough. And eventually, I got the D500. And then from the D500, I now moved
Mm-hmm.
over to the Z62. So that is what I'm shooting with now, with the DC, with the Z62. But also, I acquired a whole bunch of lenses until I got to the lenses that worked for me, and all of that, was fine. But the one thing that really changed my photography was not the cameras. It was never the camera. I can use any of those old bodies now, and I still get some beautiful pictures. What changed my photography was my lighting. With the
Mm-hmm.
day I
Yeah.
decided to train
Mm-hmm.
myself, lighting, how lighting actually works, because that is what photography is all about, is capturing light. I mean, you can have the most expensive camera with you, and if you don't have the proper lighting with you, the camera means absolutely nothing. If you can shoot in complete darkness, and nothing's going to come off of that, but you need to.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where the Kodak systems, when I bought the I remember buying my first the V1 from, I was so
All right.
excited about this V1. And thereafter I got the 8200, and so I started, building my lighting system. And I will, if I had to give anybody advice today, cameras are important, but lighting is the most important. And that is where
100%.
camera
Yeah.
stuff comes in.
Thank you for the punt. Yeah, it's definitely a big lesson to learn in photography, and it's deeply resonate with what you said there in terms of the gear and the lenses, etc., can take you up until a point, but understanding
Oh,
light,
yeah,
contrast, interplay between lighting and shadow, how to modify the light, that's your superpower. And having
that's your
these
superpower.
external extra gizmos that can help you to craft light specifically, from there build that on top of your vision as well. That's ultimately the magic of photography. Yeah, so camera,
Yeah.
lenses, etc., very important, but lighting is the magic. And so from a newbie's perspective, anyone getting into photography, that is something to learn and study immediately. It's just learning how to craft light and how to bend and mold light to your whim. absolutely, it's a good way to get going into photography and just to hear your story unravel. There's just one fascinating story from the next. Yeah, it's incredible how you got into your journey, and it's something else I wanted to get into. It's what got you into people photography? Why not product photography? Why not any other type of photography? What got you into people photography? And if you don't mind me asking, like, do you use your past to motivate people? Do you build that into your brand per se? Do you use your past to uplift people, to teach people about, your story in general?
Okay, let me answer the first question first. Why did I get into people photography? People got me into people photography. I think the love that I have for people, and if you if
What a
you if you
wonderful thing to say. I
if
like that.
yeah, so it's people. Like you get different personalities of people. You get different characters. You get different. Everybody's different. Some people are private. They want to have the photo shoot, but please don't post our stuff on social media. Other ones is like, yo, you must post my pictures on social. So you meet the diversity of people. Across different cultures, across different race groups. Everybody's different.
Mm,
But the one thing that I always like about people is when they stand in front of the lens. It's almost as if they have this, I don't know, like this superpower coming in from the bottom, just filling them up, and
mm,
they're all very
absolutely.
honest. Like the one question, the one not question, the one statement that I always get from people is like, Nathan, I am not a model, so please make me look
Hmm.
beautiful. And that is what I want to hear from people. Don't come with the attitude, don't come, just be yourself. And that allows me, as a photographer, to guide and direct you, and so that I can get what you want. That's the one thing. The other thing, with regards to my past, I don't really incorporate my past into the brand that I built. Or a lot of people know. Every so now and again, I would share that on social media, but because I do so much corporate work at the moment, I try not to put that into my into my onto my page as much. But on a private, when I'm busy with a photo shoot and people start talking, then I will start sharing, but not all the time, because most of the time in my photography, and I think this is one of the questions that's going to come up later on, is it's me being getting to get the best out of the subject, so out of the client, if I can call it that. It's for
Mm,
me, my job is to bring out emotion, is to bring out that smile. and
mm,
and I have obviously certain ways of what the questions that I ask, and how the kind of person that I am during the shoot, that makes the people comfortable, and that makes the people speak, and that makes the people smile. But I'll answer that later on. But for now, I don't really do the past thing. I do share if people ask me. I do share, and if it's necessary for me to share it, I will share it. But if it's not necessary for me to share it, then I won't share it.
yeah, in saying that, I do think one's past is quite integral in terms of growing and developing as a person and as a creative person
Mhm.
as well. So the underpinning of it will be there, the undertone will be there. So you're not displaying it, as far as surface level details are concerned, but just hearing you talk, how excited and grateful you are, and sharing these moments with people, and sharing connections, sharing moments, and in doing photography at the same time. I think the past is there and it's
Yeah,
helpful to you in moving forward
definitely.
and shaping everything together. So
Mm,
obviously it's not part of the surface level details, but it has provided an underpinning to your work. And just hearing you talk, man, like I want to model for you. Like you're so excited and um so passionate about it. Like it's integral. It's like wonderful that sharing these emotions. That's built into one's photography in a positive
yeah,
way. So the past is in the past, obviously, but the past will also shape you in terms of your future and in a
yeah.
positive way. And it's wonderful that you have chosen the positive outro. So in
Awesome.
terms of people photography, you mentioned making people feel comfortable. So do you have any tips and tricks for people, getting the best out of people? You mentioned the phrase getting the superhero out of a person. So with camera and
Yeah.
a person in studio, do you have any tips and tricks to share with people in terms of getting people to feel comfortable?
Okay, I just want to share what my sort of what I do. with me, it's all about getting to know the people. I always love asking questions because I always tell my wife. I said to my wife, you know what? I always get to meet someone. I get to meet a lot of people for the first time all the time. I get to meet. I've never seen this person before, and the chances of me even seeing the person again after that is like maybe a 50% or even a 90% chance. I don't know, but there's a lot of people that I've met that I've never seen again, but they will always remember me, and I will always remember them because of a moment that was created. So during photo shoots, I always try and ask people about, what you do, where you from, especially if they have accent that I know that they're not from South Africa, or they're not from the Eastern Cape, and that's how we start conversation. Tell me about a bit about you, and that's
Mhm.
where my past sometimes comes in when I share. Okay, this is who I am, this is where I come from, this is what I've done, and the things that I was involved in, and this is how my life changed, and they find that extreme because they start asking 100 million questions after that. So already the fence of shyness is already down. You understand?
Mm.
Just by getting to know somebody. So now, when you ask them, for them to smile or do a certain position, or sort of like turn your head a little bit more this way, they're a little bit more comfortable because the ice here. Let me
Mm.
call it the ice has already been broken. The fence
Yep.
of your photographer and your guy with the camera is down, and I find that a lot with guys. The women not that difficult, but the guys, especially the dads,
Mhm.
they once it's macho, man, they make us believe that we're macho and we're
Mhm.
not supposed to smile.
Yeah, the
So,
lads
so
need a bit
even
of warming up.
you understand what I mean. So yeah, no,
Yes.
just asking questions and having conversation, that breaks the ice, and that you're allowing somebody into your space and they allowing you into their space, and that helps a lot, especially with emotion, especially with the smile, especially with getting out of them getting the best possible picture that you can find. And many times he'll send me messages after, oh, thank you for making us feel comfortable, thank you for understanding us. Sometimes you got to be patient. Sometimes they have kids that are crying and the kids are hungry. You got to have a lot of patience. You got to be a people's
Mm.
person. I'm not much of, I don't have like a lot of friends. I'm not an out there person, but because of my work, I had to learn to become a people's person. I had to learn to become patient. I
Mhm.
had to learn, because that is that if you have that skill set, that is the skill set that is going to help you propel your photography even higher in terms of getting people to like you, getting people to rebook you, getting people to recommend you. I mean, if you're impatient,
Mhm.
people say, nah, don't ever go to that guy again. That guy was impatient. But
Yeah.
if they had a good experience with you, if they had a good experience with you, they will always recommend you. And I always say to up and coming photographers that ask me for advice, I always say, we are relational creatures. We relate, right? If a client, I don't care how expensive your camera is, what lenses you use, what lighting system you use, if people cannot relate with you, they will never book you.
Yes.
So you have to become a relatable person. You have to become a people's person. You have to stay humble. Conrad is one thing. Sometimes as
Mm.
photographers, we grow and this grows and these people book us and that company books you. You start getting an ego, and then the little guy that comes for just a family photo shoot, you start treating them with a little bit of disrespect because you now got this big corporate that is your client. You understand?
Mhm.
And you're giving the corporate client the best treatment, and you're treating the little guy that brought you to the to those because without the little guys, we would never be able to be who we are. And if you treat them,
Mhm.
they are going to, I promise you, they will never
Yeah, it's
recommend
gonna
you,
bite
and they
you in
will
the
never
butt.
come. They will never ever come back to you. You understand? So we always think, when you do a photo shoot, you're always thinking that this person is my billboard, this person is my advert. You don't have to go in.
Mhm.
It's important to advertise. It's important to advertise, but the treating the client with respect and treating the client with dignity, they are going to be your billboard. They're going to be your mouthpiece. They're going to be your everything. They're going to be the face of your brand. They're going to be your brand ambassadors going forward.
Mhm.
So that is my advice going forward.
Yeah, that's a great lesson there to be learned. We're not just selling photos, we're selling memories and
Mm-mm.
experiences as well. So the experience of the photo shoot itself is something people are going to remember. And if it's a bad experience, just washing a client and multiple clients but after down the drain. So I've spoken to many entrepreneurial types, many marketing experts. We can talk at depth around, Google ads and Facebook ads and printed advertising and whatnot, but your greatest weapon is indeed word of mouth and networking and
Yeah.
providing good experiences to your clients. Because, as you mentioned, you used an excellent phrase that your clients are your billboards. So providing a great experience by keeping humble, by keeping conversations going, and just making it a fun experience all round. That's just a great
Mhm.
advertisement, a great advertisement for your work. There's a big lesson for clients out there, not clients, sorry, photographers out there, that the experience is paramount. Like providing a good experience to your clients from start to finish, even talking before and talking afterwards, not just the photo shoot itself, but just good vibes all around from point A to B. That is going to sell your work more effectively than anything else combined.
Definitely, definitely.
All right. So you've already shared quite a few interesting tidbits about your career. Besides anything that has been mentioned already, was there any memorable moment that really stood out to you where you thought to yourself, okay, I've made it. I'm a photographer. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So any memorable experience that you want to share with us?
I actually want to share about a in April this year, and that was
Mm-hmm.
one of the pictures that I sent you. And I want to talk about that photo shoot. It was a matric farewell, and I think the girl's name is Shamika. Her mother booked me. I've done a lot of like that. What I just mentioned to you, that was one of the people that I would refer to as a billboard. Okay, so in that family, so it's quite a big family, and in that family, I've done three of the kids matric farewells from the beginning, right from the beginning. And I've done a few other. That's the picture, yeah. So I've done a few other photo shoots for their families as well. But I was sort of like if we Nathan is our go-to guy when it comes to the matric farewells. But this particular shoot, Conrad, very different. It was very, very different. And I thought she was extremely shy. And going through the emotions, the mother, the father, everybody was there. I know the family, so it was a little bit easier for me. So guided her through the shoot. And that when I posted that photo shoot on my page, it went viral. Like it went extremely viral. I don't think I have another post photo shoot that I did that went as viral.
Mm-hmm.
It was seen by more than 600,000 people. Right, the responses on the
Oh,
phone,
wow.
on the picture, on the pictures itself was, I think it was close to 5,000, either close to 5,000 or more than 5,000, which was big. And with that, Conrad, a lot of negativity came. There was a lot of negativity. There were a lot of people in the comment section that was attacking this girl. They were attacking her for the
Oh, no.
weight. They were attacking about all of those crazy things. And I felt so bad that I wanted to go and delete the post. And her mother sent me a message, and her mother said, "You know what? My child's very happy, and a post is going viral, and she's happy. There's one or two trolls on there, but we're not concerned about that." And I, in that moment, realized, Conrad, that as a photographer, you make people comfortable enough
Mm.
that it doesn't matter what anybody else says about them. The fact that they're beautiful in their picture that you have created for them, and you've made them feel comfortable creating that picture in the process. She couldn't care about anybody that said anything about her. She went afterwards, and I went and read all some of the comments, and how confidently she answered them, and how confident she responded. Like
Oh, wow.
there was nothing about her that felt insecure. There was nothing about her that felt any kind of way. Now, if I, during the photo shoot, did anything to make her feel uncomfortable, how do you think that would have reflected on the pictures and the people that came with negative comments? I think the photographer made me feel uncomfortable. You understand, now the people are making me feel uncomfortable. That would have had a whole negative connotation on everything. The whole photo shoot would have just been a disaster. But as a photographer, feel comfortable. The photo shoot was nice. The pictures came out beautiful. She was happy. It doesn't matter who said what. She was extremely happy, and her post went viral. And that day I learned to listen. It's not just about your gear. It's about making people feel comfortable, that even the attacks that come their way. I mean, the pictures are beautiful, but there were one or two people that obviously what narkies gewees het, and they, it didn't affect her. Let me put it that way. It didn't affect the A form. And that was the day that I realized how important our presence and our um, energy that we bring to the photo shoot is, because that will, like I said, that also influences how people feel when they get their pictures or when they see their pictures.
Yeah, a stunning story. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so we have a nice crowd building. So yeah, a lot of people watching, in fact. So if you are in the comment section or want to get in the comment section, if you have any questions to ask or any comments to make, please do drop in. And we'll tackle them as we prod along. So we have so I said, a nice crowd going. So yeah, get busy in the comment section. Let's get a bit of a conversation going. So yeah, thank you for that story, and I agree 100% with you. Just the attitude the photographer has, just everything
Mm.
around the photo shoot itself, may just uplift someone or just put someone down. And that's the worst thing that you want, is for a client to feel
Yeah,
uncomfortable about themselves or to feel
definitely.
anything less about themselves. It is probably the biggest compliment one can receive as a photographer. For somebody to say, "Oh, you put me in a different light," or "I feel so comfortable
Yeah,
about myself," or "I feel more special now." This is our role as photographers, as people photographers. Like, we
yeah,
want to celebrate people, we want to put people in a great light, and we want to brag about them. Right? We want to put them in front of the world and say, "Look at this champion! Look at this amazing person! Look at this
yes,
amazing
definitely.
personality," etc. And if you don't feel that in your heart as a photographer with camera in hand, you're probably, obviously taking the wrong approach. So just
I
listening
think
to you
so
speak
too.
about these things, people can definitely learn a lot from you as far as your process is concerned. Speaking of which, the process. So going from point A to B in terms of conceptualizing a photo shoot, like planning a photo shoot, how do you take an idea that's in here and how do you bring it to life? So do you want to talk us through that process?
Yeah, no, no problem, Conrad. So, Conrad, with photo shoots, right? A lot of the photo shoots, the clients come to me with an idea. They saw something from somewhere, right? And one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that I always share with them is, you know what? I am not going to duplicate what you're showing me. Right? I've got my own
Mm.
creativity. I'm a completely different. I've got my own style. I've got my own. I'm completely different to what you see, but we can try and make it closer. Those are the when the clients come to you. Then I've also got photo shoots that I do by myself. I get my assistant to model for me, or um, I get some family members to just come in and sort of model for me. And the process that I use is just, what is it that what is the outcome? What is it that I want to achieve? First of all, before I do anything, what is the outcome? What is it that I want to achieve from this photo shoot? And from there, that will decide, that is the time I will decide, okay, what location I will use. Obviously, the I will advise the model what sort of like they must be wearing and stuff like that. Like, for example, let me make an example of a photo shoot that I did with my sister. It was a basketball themed photo shoot. And we she had the basketball outfits and everything. And I found the basketball court. And the outcome that I wanted was sort of like, the young, I call them millennials, the young millennials, like, and I achieved that. And that is how the process that I use is just, what is it, the outcome? I first start with the outcome, and then I work my way back. Okay, that's the outcome. That's going to be the quote that I'm going to use. That's going to be the props that I'm going to use. And that's the dress code or outfit that I want them to wear. And because this is going to give us the overall look, I'm actually planning a photo shoot now that will be happening on Thursday
Mm-hmm.
night, and it's going to be a more like a rustic coffee shop, the old traditional flash forward sort of like photo shoot. So I had to go and find a coffee shop that fits what I want. And there was a whole bunch of coffee shops in East London, but none of them fit the the and then this morning, while I was on Instagram, books up in East London, hidden gem, got in contact with the people, and 1, 2, 3, they're happy to do the photo shoot at their premises. All they want is give us the pictures so that we can use marketing and everything. I'm going to do a recording of that. I'm going to do behind the scenes. Everything. I'm going to record everything about that photo shoot, because that is sort of like we've been talking since Sunday. Myself and the couple.
Mm-hmm.
So the printing's been done, the props have been bought, everything has been set out. So we're just waiting for Thursday now. Venue's been confirmed, the time has been confirmed. So Thursday it's happening. So yeah, I'll actually, as I'm talking about this now, I actually want to whoever follows the page, if you haven't followed our page, you can please follow our page. It's NEP Photography, and we will share everything on there from start to finish how we do that photo shoot.
Speaking of which, I do think your link is provided in the comment section. If not, let me just quickly do that. So on topic, how do you make sure that everybody involved, be it model or makeup artist or stylist, whoever is involved, how do you make sure that everybody's on the same page? Do you have something like a mood board going or a WhatsApp group? Do you just keep up in terms of communication?
At
What's the process?
at this point, Conrad, I haven't worked with model, not with models. I haven't worked with makeup artists. So a lot of the people that
Or
come to me
anyone
already
involved in the
have.
photo shoot, so not specifically models or anyone, just in the process of planning a photo shoot with anyone, how do you make sure that everybody's prepared and on the same page?
Okay, so I don't do the WhatsApp group thing. I speak to them individually.
Hmm.
And this is what we're going to be doing. This is what we want to achieve from this photo shoot. So basically, it's always just the if I can call them the models, clients models. They always bring people along with us just to help. And then I've got either my wife or my sister that they with me all the time, so they know exactly. They kind of like understand my mind already. You understand?
Hmm.
So that is
Good.
how that is how bring the most important people for me to have on the same page as me is the people that's going to be in front of the camera. To them, I spend a lot more time with them. A lot more time with them, making them feel comfortable so that on the day of the shoot, we've already planned this thing. They've sent me some sample pictures, I've sent them some ideas, and we brought this thing together already. So that is a process that I use. I don't really involve a lot of people. I haven't gotten to that stage yet. I'm gonna be very honest with you. I haven't gotten to that where there's makeup artists, there's hair people, there's I haven't it's going to happen in the future. Definitely, it's definitely something that I'm planning on doing. But for now, I just speak to the couple and take it from there, or the model, if I can call
Interesting
it.
question from Marcus asking, are you often given full creative control by your client? So in terms of planning a photo shoot, how much of your clients, creative control do you allow into the photo shoot? Like, do you want to stay in control, or is it a process of getting the best result in combination with your needs and the client's needs?
Look, like I said, I'm a people's person, and not a people pleaser, but a people's person. Interesting enough is that it always comes both ways. 50% of the clients are usually, they know what they want, and then we try to achieve that. But a lot of it is I control the process. I'm fully in control of the process of the photography.
All right. So, continuing on with this conversation, how do you balance the technical skills with the artistic and interpersonal aspects of people photography? So, in other words, obviously there's a technical side to photography, but in terms of intuition and artistic flair, how do you balance it between the two?
Conrad, I think that the technical aspect of photography, understanding the technical side of photography, so your exposure, your shutter speed, this understanding the camera, understanding the lighting, those things are very, very important. But what are you capturing? You understand? You can know all the technical details of how the thing works, but do you know what mood to set? Do you know what? Do you know what? Sort of like, do you know what is it that you are looking for? Do you understand what is the outcome of the image that you need? That is where artistic flair is very important, because that is what is going to create the image. It's not just going to be the technical knowledge that is going to create the image. It is knowing on what percentage are you going to put your light at, what f-stop are you going to use, what lens, what focal lens, for focal range are you going to use? Do you want a wide angle picture? Do you want a close-up? Do you know that is important, knowing that information. But what's in front of you, your creativity that you put in front of you to capture that, to me, I think
Mm.
that you need as much as your gear is important, your creativity of what you're going to capture, the background, what kind of background are you looking for? Like I said to you, with this photo shoot that we're planning for Thursday, I wanted a certain look, and everybody that I went to, they had something similar, but it was not what I was looking for, because I want to create that look that I have in my mind. So the creativity is going to, you have the creative process of this is what I want. Then you have the searching process. Let me go and look for what I want. Then you got the technical. Okay, I've found what I was looking for. We've planned on the dress code and everything. So everything is coming together. So now now the technical part comes in. The technical aspect is really the last part of the process of photography, because
Mm.
once
Makes sense.
everything is done, you understand. Once you start the ideas in your head, okay, this is what I want. You go and find what you're looking for. Once you found that, your subject is going to be wearing this. So now the creative part of what the image is going to look like is done. Then at the end, that is when your technical knowledge comes to play. Or on the day of the shoot, that's when your technical knowledge. It is important. It's very important. But if you don't have the creativity, if you don't want to go out there and find this thing that you're looking for, then you're just going to be like any other guy that just snaps. And that is
Mm.
not what we want to be. We want to use the creativity, and
Yeah, yeah.
I call it the not just the creativity, it's also the curiosity. Let me go and see what I can
Oh,
find
good
that's
way of
going
phrasing
to
it.
that,
Mm.
yeah, that's going to be able to give me what I'm seeing in my head, because if you don't see it in your head, then you really just, it's almost like a blank canvas, blank canvas.
Yeah.
The part of the painting utensils and the paint itself is your location, is the dress code, it's the model, it's the way you pose the model, it's the background that you're going to use. Those are, I call it the paint brushes and the paint. Those things play a big role in creating the picture that you want. And then the technical skills also come into play, and that also plays part of the painting, or the utensils, or what the paint that you're going to be using to as an artist to create this image that you're looking for. So it's not just technical skills that is important. It is very important, but it's not the only thing that's important. Your creativity
Mm.
is extremely important as well. And that is where
Yeah, I think we
I would also,
come a little bit. Okay, go ahead.
and that is, if I could advise, if I could give any advice to up and coming photographers, I would say find somebody that you can look up to, somebody that you can, even if you had to copy their style in the beginning until you find your own style, but just learn something from them. Don't be shy to send them inbox messages. That's how I had to start. I had to send people inbox messages. I mean, I like your photography, but what do you use? Like, where did you do it? How did you do this? And I wasn't shy to ask, for help and ask for advice. I still do it up till this day. I don't know everything. You understand? I'm still learning. I've only been in a photographer for 4 years now, so I still have so much to learn, and I'm learning so much from these guys that have been in the industry for so long, and a lot of them are very helpful. So if you're new to photography and you want to grow, or you want to grow your photography, don't be shy to find a mentor, find somebody close to you online. Online is now, I watch Conrad shooting all sorts of things in the studio, that camera stuff all the time, and that teaches me how to put lighting. What happens if you bring the lighting from the back? What happens when you bring the lighting from the front? What happens if you bring the lighting from the top? You already see these things and you try these things and it works for you. So you need to find somebody that you can, that's experienced, and you know how they do things, and then just learn from them. That is important. See, sometimes what happens, Conrad, we become very competitive in photography. I don't know why. It's just
Huh?
this, I call it a disease. You now know a little, so now you start competing with the people that have been there long before you. Why not learn from them? I mean, they've traveled a journey 10 years ahead of you. So they have experienced the things that you still need to encounter, they've already solved. So that can speed up your process much quicker if you can just humble yourself and not see people as competitors, or see other photographers as competitors. Just see them as, as colleagues, or as friends, or whatever you, or mentors, or whatever you want to call it. You fill in the blank, but find somebody that you can learn from. Find a couple of people, if you can find somebody that you can follow, somebody that you can ask questions, and that you can learn from.
100%. So I can't agree more with that. So certainly in providing a network for yourself, with
Yeah,
co-contemporaries, people like you, people with a similar vision, not just
yeah,
photographers, but people who are just passionate about being creative and talking these things out, and obviously learning from one another in the process as well. It's incredibly important to have that network just going forward in your career. Yeah, so I can't agree more with you. Yeah, so much said in that statement. I have a couple of follow-up questions. So, how do you stay motivated and creative? Like, do you ever experience like a creative block or something? And if so, how do you overcome that?
Uh, Luckily, I do have those moments, Conrad. I do have those moments. Where life happens to us. I mean, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm a photographer, I'm a business person, I'm a son. I'm a brother. So somewhere in that web of my life, sometimes things happen to us, and we don't always feel motivated. We don't always, especially when when
Mhm.
when you had a wobbly with sort of like a client, when you did a photo shoot and you're so enthusiastic, you're so excited, send the client to the pictures, and they say to you, "Nah, I'm not happy. Look at me. Don't you want to change this? Don't you want to change that?" I mean, that demotivates. I don't know if you've ever experienced that. You were so excited, you got there, you edited the pictures. To you, the pictures are beautiful. Maybe there was a challenging sunlight that you had to deal with or something, but you
Mhm.
overcame that. But they are not happy within themselves, and they project that onto your work. And that can sometimes, if you're not aware and if you're not taught as a photographer that you're not in charge, right? If people have a negative view of themselves, you can only do so much. Like, you can talk, you can ask
Mm.
questions, you can laugh, you can smile, you can only do so much. But if people are unhappy within themselves, there's unfortunately nothing that you can do, but you can try your best to get the best images, you understand? And sometimes sending these pictures to people, they'll come back and they're not happy. I'm not happy. Look at this. This is not right. That is not right. And as a photographer, it makes you feel like, just, yeah, let me sell my camera and I'm done with this thing. Because sometimes they'll go around and spreading some bad fire, if I can call it that. And to
Mm.
stay motivated, for me to stay motivated, I believe in nature. I do running. I run in the mornings, and before I touch cameras, before I touch computers, before I do anything, I first need a half an
Mhm.
hour with myself. Then that allows me to think. I just do it in the form of running.
Mhm.
Other people do it in the form of reading. Other people do it in the form of just sitting at the beach, and just thinking. I think you need to be self-aware. You need to be self-awareness is a very crucial tool
Mhm.
in staying motivated. You need to know, I'm not motivated right now, but I'm not going to be like this forever. This is just a seasonal thing. Because if you're not self-aware, something like a wobbly like that, where you have to deal with a very negative client or corporate client that wasn't happy with what you produced for them, it can make you go into depression. Like, it can really, really make you go into depression, and it's going to start making you question what you are able to deliver. And then you start getting into this sort of like a shell. And so being self-aware, spending some time with yourself, and understanding that, yes, some days you're going to have good days, and some days you're going to have bad days. And even if you have bad days, use that as stepping stones or learning curves. Okay, I'm not going to do this again. And the feedback that you get from clients that are unhappy, I see it as feedback. In the beginning, it used to be like, oh, it's negative, oh, this and that. But it's feedback. Okay, now I'm going to know, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. Okay, now I'm not going to do this anymore. And that's how you shape your style. And okay, this worked for me last time, and this didn't work for me last time. It's almost like, I saw a picture on Facebook yesterday. They had a picture of a pen in 1950, and they have a picture of the same pen now in 2024. And they said, if it doesn't give problems, if it doesn't break, don't change it. So the things that in your business that is working, use those things. The
Mhm.
things that are not working, go back to the drawing board. Stop being negative and start punishing yourself because of something that you did. Go back to the drawing board. How can I better myself? How can this feedback
Mm.
come back positively? Sit and draw. Okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. Okay, maybe I must just change just a little bit like this. And that's how you tweak your style, and that's how you become a better photographer. Because now you're going, when you do your next shoot, you still have that good vibe, you still have that good energy, and now the next customer is going to be your best customer. He could maybe the one that propels you, and it's amazing. In the beginning, I had clients like that were very upset with how I was editing their work, or the amount of pictures I was giving. They were very upset with me. Because, like I said, I'm still a beginner. I'm speaking here on behalf of beginnings. If you're a professional guy and you've been doing this for years, please don't judge me for this. I'm still learning. You understand? And they were very. I felt very negative in the beginning. And I took that,
Mhm.
with my running, and how can I change this? Those very people came back because they saw how I don't think they
Mm.
realize how their comments or whatever they said actually strengthened me, and I use that to sort of like become a better photographer, changing the light around, maybe not doing this next time, maybe not doing that next time. And these people come back to you and they're like, oh no, look here, we saw one. Hey, remember, oh, from the last time. Now that's the time you see that as like a challenge. You're like, okay, look here, I didn't do, it's almost like a round two, if I can make an
Mm.
example of that. It's like a round one, you beat me, I understand, I didn't give you what you want, but now I'm gonna go the extra mile to make sure that I impress you so much that you are going to tell everybody about me. You understand? So that is how you stay
And
motivated in the game of photography.
mm.
You can't be upset when people give you negative feedback. You got to take that negative feedback. You got to put it into some sort of like a a meal, if I can call it that, and then you must eat it, and then you must carry on living.
Yeah, turn it into a weapon going forward. Yeah, the
Yeah,
negative feedback and the negative attitudes and all things negative, that's inevitable. Like even the more
yeah,
popular, the
no,
more trouble on your journey, the more you're going to encounter it. And so with that inevitability, you mentioned something about mindfulness and spending time with yourself, which I think is also incredibly important. Mindfulness will carry you a very, very long way. Just to be introspective about these things and don't let these things just drag you down. Otherwise, that's just going to drag you deeper into a hole. So
yeah,
spending time with yourself and having a conversation with yourself around these things. If not that, have conversation. A network of friends come in handy here
yep,
as well. So if you can't, well, if you're feeling a little bit lost, just you can navigate through that by talking to people, or with that, on top of that, having time with yourself as well. Uh, it's not a losing battle. It is a battle. It is still
mm,
worth fighting for. So just because you've lost a game, something may have happened that didn't go according to plan. It's part of the game going forward. So don't beat
yeah,
yourself up too hard about these things.
yeah.
So speaking of negative feedback, here's some positive feedback. NEP photography, Nathan Eden Prins photography. I would recommend to everyone. He did an absolutely amazing job with my child's first birthday shoot. 2 years later, I still talk and post these beautiful pictures. Keep up the tremendous work.
Wow.
And also, I like the energy on how you project yourself. And same here as well. It's difficult for me to keep up. You're just taking over the show. It's much appreciated.
Awesome
No,
stuff.
loving it. Yeah,
Awesome stuff.
I'm just hearing about how you talk about these things. It's incredibly inspiring, and I'm certain everybody watching is feel incredibly inspired as well. So, people out there in Facebook and YouTube land, if you have any questions to ask, we're nearing the end of our chat. I only have a couple of more questions to ask. So, if you're curious about something, if you want Nathan to answer whatever question, or if you have a comment or two, do drop them in the comment section. As mentioned, we're kind of in the last 10 odd minutes or so. So, use the opportunity to get yourself involved in a conversation. So, we kind of touched on this already, but maybe a bit of reiteration, maybe if you want to add a couple of things. But as far as new photographers out there are concerned, what advice would you give them?
For new photographers, the gear is important, but it's not everything. I always share my
Hmm.
story of how I started. I still have that bulb, the not the bulb, the flash that I have, the very very first flash that I bought. I still have that. I still have the box with the tin foil. I still have those things. I still have the first camera that I use. I have all those things just to show people that when I started my photography journey, I did not have the product in mind. I had the picture, I had the person. That is what I had in mind. And if you're going to do photography and you want to first start with the best gear, you're going to miss the concept of building relationships and building your brand with people, because people ultimately are the ones that are going to go and, like I said, share your work, or share your reputation, or share what you do. They are the ones that's going to do that. And I always say to tell people, get involved with communities. Like I think on Facebook, not
Yeah.
on Facebook, I'm part of a couple of groups, but also on WhatsApp. I'm on a couple of groups. I'm on one of the groups. I'm with Carl Daniels and those guys. Those guys have a season. Those guys have been doing
Mm.
photography for years. Get involved in community. because in community, that is where you're going to learn, that is where you get to ask questions. Like I know camera stuff has a whole bunch of groups that they have on social media. Go onto camera stuff and go and find the groups that you can join, the community groups where you can ask questions, where you can, if you have problems like this is what I'm faced with, how do I fix this? There's a lot of helpful people out there that's going to advise you. And that is the advice that I want to give. First build your skill level. Don't just go out and get the most expensive camera. Yeah, I know the Sony. Everybody says Sony, like I want to go buy Sony. Do you know how Sony works? Do you understand? Do you know it? It's not just about the camera. It's a lot of other aspects. Train yourself to become a people's person. Train yourself to become a patient person. Train yourself
Mm.
to put people's needs above yourself. What is it that the people want? Like, all those kind of things. How to work with people, how to communicate with people from start to finish, from the time that you get your first WhatsApp message. Hi there, what is your rates? From that moment to the end
Mhm.
result, you must that's a process. It's not just one thing. Camera is only a little part. It's only going to be for 1 hour that you when you do the photo shoot, or 2 or 3 hours that you're going to be doing the photo shoot. That is when your camera comes into play. But before that, from the communication via WhatsApp, how you speak to your clients, how you respond to your clients, how you make them feel on communication, they haven't even seen you yet, how you make them feel there, and then proceeding over into turning the client, obviously turning the inquiry into a client. That's also a process. And then doing the photo shoot, and then also the after sales service, very important. The after sales
Yes.
service is the most important thing for me. It's the most important. How soon you deliver your images, the quality that you deliver them in. Do you stick up to what you promised, right? Are you just going to send them a link? Are you going to give them a USB? That's all up to you how you're going to do that. But the after sales service is very important. If you have a delay, or if you caught up with other work and you can't get to delivering your things on time, communicate with the clients and say to them, look, yeah, this is what's happening at the moment, but we've got you on point and all of that. Try not to may do that, but if it had to happen, then communicate with them. So that is the advice that I can give
Mhm.
to new photographers. I'm not a guy for gear, Conrad. I'm not a guy that's going to say, no, you must buy this gear, you must do this, you must use these settings. Because at the end of the day, if you are not approachable, if you are not relatable, people are not going to want to be with you. People are not going to want to work with you. And it happened many times in my career where I was unable to get to a photo shoot, and I had to recommend somebody else. And then the person that I recommended, the people phoned me like, oh, this guy that you sent, he doesn't even talk, he doesn't even show us the pictures. People talk.
Mhm.
And so that's important. You need to become a relatable person. I do understand that gear is important, but you need to become a relatable person.
Now, you mentioned that you are only 4 years into your photography, you even refer to yourself as a newbie photographer, but the way you talk,
Yeah.
you do sound like a master. And I think your trajectory going forward is in good hands. You are incredible, wonderful to
Thank you.
talk to. I do thank you for joining tonight. It was incredible, satisfying, inspiring. The way you projected yourself tonight was just amazing. You were nervous beforehand, but as I said, you might as well just call yourself a master at this point. It's just something that I do want to. Um, so definitely how I see things. I've been involved in the industry for like close to 15 years now. People get excited
Wow.
at first, being a newbie photographer, having camera in hand and working with people and learning the quote unquote basics of photography, composition, and all of the technical know-hows around your camera, exposure triangle, and learning light and contrast, interplay between light and shadow, all of this fun stuff. Then something happens. People become quite gear obsessed and technique obsessed. They become obsessed with the ingredients, and they become obsessed with what camera do you have, what lens do you have. But then something else happens yet again. This is why I made a reference to the masters. When you listen to the masters just talk about things, they talk about the basics. Like,
Mm.
they just talk about relationships. They talk about all the fun stuff that we all learned and felt inspired by as newbie photographers. So yes, gear, camera, lenses, all of the technical aspects of photography, important, but don't lose touch of what the soul of photography is. All the things that
Yeah.
got you going in the first place. And when you listen to the masters, all of the the old guys, the old women, the great people, they just talk about the things that got them going in the first place. So it becomes a circle. So don't lose that in any way, shape, or form. That soul, that inspiration, that heart that got you going in the first place. Always have that with you. And I think you are exhibiting that. You have exhibited that tonight. And again, I thank you so much. It was an absolutely blast to have a conversation with you. You were incredible. Thank you.
Conrad, I need to say thank you to you guys. I really, really need to say thank you to you, Conrad, and the guys from Camera Stuff for having me tonight to share just the little that I know, and also just it just inspires someone out there. Even if there was just one person that got inspired by my journey or by my story, I think that is that to me is an achievement. You understand? Just one person. I don't need to
I already got
touch the
one.
whole world.
I already got one.
you know,
Maybe
so
one
just
extra.
touching just touching one person's life, that is all I ever wanted. I don't want the big things in life, just that one person, because changing that one person's life can change the whole trajectory of their life. Just touching that one
100%.
person through your story. Somebody threw away a Nikon camera. I don't know who it is. I don't know who the owner of this is, but they threw this away, and they don't know that this is what inspired me, and this is what changed my life. And here it is, as broken as it is, the day I found it, it still inspires me. Every time I go back, I remember that moment when I picked up a broken camera, and the thoughts that went through my head, and the stuff that I said to myself in that moment. I wasn't living any good life at all. But that moment changed my life forever. And I wish I could be this camera to somebody else. Just an inspiration.
Well, I think you are inspiring people, and we are looking forward to see what Nathan gets up to in the near future. So, to anybody still watching, we still have a nice crowd. So, the link is provided in the comment section and also the description. So, do please follow Nathan, and let's help grow the South African and beyond industry. We do desperately need it in times of economic strife and whatnot. We are not competitors. We are here to nurture and help each other flourish in this
Definitely.
photographic creative industry. So thank you, Nathan, for joining yet again. To everybody else out there, thank you for joining as well. Thank you for participating tonight and watching. Do subscribe and like all the channels in terms of future lives as well. So I think that's it. So that's going to be a good night.